Hey everybody, welcome to our latest update here of our One Funnel Away Challenge case study. Uh, I'm Frank,
I'm Franco.
and if you guys haven't followed along, we're actually chronicling our 30-day challenge here, our One Funnel Away Challenge. And we had some previous videos talking about the setup of the challenge and what it's all about. And in this video, we're going to go over week 2, essentially what we've been up to the last 6 or 7 days, what we accomplished, what was the objective of each day, and tell you how we're progressing in this overall thing. So if you guys remember, for those of you guys that hadn't seen or did see our last video, we talked about week 2 was going to be all about publishing, right? And then in the first day, they talked about the different platforms you can publish on, the importance of publishing, finding your medium, and just kind of publishing every single day. Franco and I have discussed a few different ways we're going to publish. We believe we're going to have a combo of video and written blog is going to be our form of publishing, which is going to be some outsourced content and then some content that we actually create ourselves. That's kind of what we've committed to. Day 2, Russell in the training was all about the Epiphany Bridge, just understanding emotion versus logic and telling your story and creating essentially your prospect to be able to have their own epiphany, and that's what gets them to buy, and not getting stuck in technobabble, which is a lot of people try to do when they're explaining their product. He told some great stories about just witnessing people getting into technobabble, and training that they gave during this was really good. And then day 3, once they laid that out, they actually went over the Epiphany Bridge script and how that pertains to your origin story. So in this, the takeaway was they wanted us to create our own origin story, right? So publish our own origin story. So Franco and I went through this exercise here where you create your backstory, right? This is the format of your Epiphany Bridge script. So your backstory, which has your desires, both internal and external, the journey, the wall you hit, right? The new opportunity, hence the epiphany that you had, the plan, and then the conflict you hit. It leads to the achievement versus your transformation. And they break that down in a lot of detail, which is really great. Being in a sales background, it's funny how true it is when you really see progress in a sale happen, how a lot of this organically happens. So it was really nice to see it laid out. Franco and I then went through the exercise that they laid out, and we created our individual backstories that we could then tell, which includes, our backstory, the desires, right, the wall, our epiphany. So we created our own Epiphany Bridge origin stories that were going to mold together into a company origin story. So we accomplished that. That was a pretty good exercise. And then we're just giving you an overview here. Then the next day was all about hooks, and more hooks. And this was, they talked about how setting the hook, right, to grab traffic is so important. And the exercise was essentially just coming out with 15, 20 different hooks that your offer that we can use. And we did that. And luckily the business we picked, we think has a lot of natural hooks. So we have tons that we can use. And we think we're set up well there. Franco, do you want to talk a little bit more about how Stephen kind of gave a really great example of the 3 different types of hooks you could use?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Frank was saying, like going back to early on about writing the Epiphany Bridge script real quick, and then I'll go forward a little bit. I'm really learning a lot. Like I said, for those that haven't followed us all the way, I'm totally new in this space. I have an education background, and I've been really getting a lot of information through Stephen's coaching calls and his seminars, basically. So he actually did on his Facebook Live feed, he was showing a book that he read and how he made a lot of his money. And he quickly showed it up as he's talking. He's telling the people, please don't buy it yet. Let me go into it. And people are asking questions, what's the name of that title? I'm ordering it right now. And he's like, hold on, don't buy it yet. We're going to drop a link in a second. And basically when he was in the Army, they talked about he saw this fancy guy with a nice watch and a limo, and he ran up to there right before the guy slammed the door and stuck his hand in there. And he said, hey, can I ask you a question? He goes, and he's trying not to squirm because he knew he hurt his hand. He said, how do you do it? How'd you make your money? And the guy goes, great. Everyone asks me this question all the time. And he goes, you know what? this is how. And he handed him the book, and Steven starts reading it, and there was all notes in there, and he was all excited. The guy goes, if you promise to follow this in 365 days, you will be wealthy. So he was all pumped, right? So he's telling everybody's story, and he goes, we're going to be selling it. We're going to drop the link right here. And he goes, and one of the tidbits we did with Russell and I, he goes, we're going to be able to, the first 50 people, we're going to actually go into the author's house and have a Q&A section. And everybody's excited and going crazy. And then he goes, this is fake. I made this all up, this whole story. And it was kind of like someone dropping the mic where everyone was like, no way, this is totally fake. He goes, there's the only fake story that I tell. He goes, but I want to show you how he's building up the scripts and the different hooks where Frank was going. And basically what you're doing is when the three things when you're trying to create a script is you want to throw rocks in the ocean, basically meaning is like ways to sell, right? Their beliefs, their ideas. You want to speak to their internal and their external desires, and you basically want to cause some type of identity crisis with them. These are all different type of hooks where they're going to be like, wait a minute, am I not getting something, or am I missing out, or what do I need to know? And he really lays it out, and it's really easy to know. Frank, anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, that was it. I thought it was nice to lay out the three different types of hooks, which was cool. And then, guys, I'll point out here you can see here on the workbook, there's a lot of additional training that they put in here in terms of hook, story, offer, and the framework for hook and headlines. This is outside of the training that comes in the One Funnel Away Challenge, which is pretty cool. They've done this pretty often where it's like you get your daily training from Russell and from, let's say, Julie and then Steven, and then here's some additional, training they've done. Like some of this is from the marketing secrets training that they have. So, just it brings you all different places. You can see here the marketing secrets. So you're kind of getting exposure to some additional training that were used, and it makes sense. They're repurposing content, but it's great because you're getting a whole bunch of extra training. So I thought that was really cool. And then the other day was, today's day. In between there was essentially 3 days of catch up that they gave us this week, which was honestly pretty needed. So they gave you some time to really finish whatever you had lagging from week one, and then also this week to create your story, continue publishing. So I thought maybe we'd go over what Franco and I kind of accomplished in the meantime, because I know you guys are probably wondering some of the stuff that was still open from the previous video. So what we were able to do is we contacted manufacturers, potential manufacturers for the product we want to sell. And, we found one that we think we like. We'll see. We ordered samples of the main product we want, plus some additional potential upsell items. We purchased those. Those should be coming. We bought, they're from this manufacturers in China. So the tariffs and stuff that's coming in now is great timing. But we should be getting those actual samples. All said and told, it was about $100 for the samples. And really it was about $50 for the products that we ordered. And then it was just the express shipping that cost, $50. We didn't really haggle on that. We didn't want to waste time. We just kind of, it is what it is. And then on top of that, we contacted someone and hired someone to create a short video for us, video asset. That was about $300, $315 on Fiverr. Hopefully it comes out well. We wrote the script ourselves that encompassed a lot of the hooks that we were talking about. So that should be done in about 5 to 10 days. We'll see how that goes. We also had some marketing, logo and things like that, which I know they don't really say don't spend a lot of time. I always spend like $30 on a logo just to have that done. And we also, ordering up ebook covers for our PLR books that we're going to get as part of our offer. We also have a pretty good list of video assets that we're going to be giving as part of an offer, some audio assets, as well as some a cool font we're going to be giving out. So we made a lot of headway there, I feel like. And those 3 days came in pretty handy. And this week, today started all about core funnel strategy. So they kind of laid out the basic offer that we're going to be creating. This week, we're going to be actually getting in ClickFunnels and creating the offer. So it's going to be a very basic entry point funnel, which we're going to be creating. And their whole goal is low ticket funnel to help capture your customers, and hopefully, they talk about two main things, right? Capture leads and convert to a sale, and try to set that up in a way where it can be at least neutral, revenue neutral. So everything beyond that can be profit. So this will be the fun stuff that I think a lot of people probably really, really like, is actually opening up ClickFunnels and creating it. So I'm looking forward to this this week. It starts to give some actual foundation, I think, to what we've been talking about. What am I missing, Franco?
No, basically they just talked about really the two biggest goals to remember when creating the funnel strategy. Really would just be generate a lead and to create a customer. Those are your two biggest ideas basically going forward to create it. Julie did a great job explaining a lot of the squeeze page and the sales offer. She kind of showed us the back end of ClickFunnels and how to really make it almost plug and play, really simple to tweak things and change ideas. And then I'm trying to think what else they really talked about. Really talked about, what Steven talked about was traffic. That was the big topic also today, about, the traffic you own, basically your own list, the ones you don't own, which is like Google, for instance. People just happen to Google something, happen to stumble upon you. And then the traffic you control are basically your ads, your Facebook ads and things like that. And, those are basically your three different types of traffic. That's what he went into. And,
yeah, and with that's a good ad. And with that, he kind of talked about, they laid it out pretty simple. Where it's like, essentially what this first funnel is trying to do is take traffic you don't control, traffic you control, and then random traffic, and turn it into traffic that you own, right? So that's why they talk about, if you can capture leads and basically have the funnel pay for the leads itself, where it's neutral, then you can acquire and create a list, which is your biggest asset. And, they talked a little bit about the general formula, and I'm sure some of you guys have heard this already, but, Russell talks about an email list. And if you're bad at email marketing, usually you can equate $1 per month per person on your email list. And then people get, $3, $5, $7, $8 per name on their list, right? As they get better at marketing. But really the money's in the list. The asset is the list. That's why a lot of companies often get bought. It's for their customer base, their list. So yeah, I thought overall it was really good. I think the challenge is moving along really well. We really appreciate you guys watching this. Subscribe, like, comment below. We'll keep doing them if you guys keep watching, and we plan on probably carrying this out, past the challenge as we launch the company. But we hope this is helpful for those of you guys that are thinking about joining. We have some affiliate link below. If you guys want to use that, that'd be great. If not, I still think overall it's been a really good experience. For the $100, you can't beat the amount of content you get. So it does take time though. So get ready to do some work, but that's the whole point when you're trying to launch something in 30 days, right? It's not simple. And if you're watching these videos, you're probably not afraid of some work. So it's nice to have a framework and follow a step-by-step process. And one thing I will say is some people got confused. The book that you get, the 30 millionaires, that's what they would do. Their 30-day challenge. We haven't even cracked into that. This is just Russell basically laying out what he would do. This is his 30-day challenge with Steven and Julie, which is pretty cool.
That's a great point.
Yeah, and all these other people that are in this book, they have their own business models and stuff, which is a whole bunch of other info that you can pull from. But this is just really following along step by step by from the funnel guy, the funnel master himself. So that's really cool. That's all I have. Franco, if you have nothing else, thank you for watching, guys. And again, subscribe if you can. And
yep. Thank you, guys.
We'll catch you on the next one.
Take care. Bye-bye.